Hello and welcome to this week's Blood Angel related video. Okay guys, so I had a game the other day with my Blood Angels. I played a 2000 point list of Blood Angels versus Tyranids. So there was a couple of things that I definitely did wrong, and it's been about 6 or 7 months since my last game. So I made up a list. I'm just going to read you the list here before I start painting. So Captain Slamgunia, so Artisan of War, Jump Pack, Storm Shield, he's the Angel's Wing Relic and a Thunderhammer. Librarian Dreadnought, his psychic powers were Unleash Rage, Wings of Sanguinius, Furioso Fist and a Heavy Flamer. 5-man Intercessor Squad, and when I opened this up before I done the video I was actually annoyed at myself. Auxiliary Grenade Launcher and Bolt Rifle by 4. Totally forgot about the grenade launcher, which would have really helped. I had a 5-man Scout Squad, a Combat Knife and Bolt Pistol, Combat Knife and Bolt Pistol, Heavy Bolter and a Sturdy Shotgun. 10-man Tactical Squad, 7 Standard, Sergeant, with a Combi Grav Power Sword, Heavy Bolter and a Plasma Gun. Elites, I had a squad of 3 aggressors with the Flamestorm Gauntlets. I had a unit of 10 Death Company. I had one with a Plasma Pistol and Power Fist, and then one with a Bolt Pistol and a Power Sword. The rest just had Bolt Pistols and Chain Swords. I had a Primaris Ancient, and then I had Sanguinary Guard, and I had 4 Angelus Bolt Guns, 2 Encarmine Swords, an Encarmine Axe, and a Power Fist, and I gave them all the Death Masks, which didn't really come into play. No fast attacks. Heavy support was 2 Battle Predators, one with all the guns, the 2 Twin Assault Cannon main turret, the 2 Heavy Bolter sponsons, the other one had the Flamestorm Cannon, and 2 Heavy Flamer sponsons. And I had a Land Raider Redeemer with 2 Flamestorm Cannons, Hunter Killer Missile, Multi-Melta Storm Bolter, Twin Assault Cannon. That's what the deck company were riding around in. So that made up my battalion attachment. And how many points is that? The battalion was 1,739 points, it's 102 power level and 5 CPs. And then I had a Supreme Command Detachment, which was 16 power level, 261 points. I think that gave me 1 more command point, and then 3 for being Battle Forged brought me up to 9. So Captain and Gravis Armour, Boltstorm Gauntlet, Master Crafted Power Sword, Primaris Lieutenant, and a Sanguinary Priest with Bolt Pistol and Chain Sword. So that was the list. I kind of made up the list because I was meant to be fighting someone else who's playing Chaos. I just want to make sure you can see this guy. I'm going to try and paint up a Blood Angel model unit vehicle every week. So I'm going to start off with Captain Karlean, I think is how it's said. He's a really cool model, so I wanted to start off with him, something different. I just need to make sure he's in shot. Okay, I'm going to just do that there, and I know where to keep my hands so you can see. Yeah, so basically there was 3 lictors in the list. There was 2 Hive Tyrants, I think, with they didn't have wings. They had Bone Sword, Waplish, not Whiplash, Bone Whip maybe. He had 2 units of 30 Gaunts, I think is how many was in each unit. There was a unit of Hormagaunts, there was a unit of Termagaunts, and maybe it was just 2 units of Gaunts. He had a massive unit of Gene Stealers down the left hand flank, and he set up first. So I deployed my 2 Battle Predators, and in between the Battle Predators was my Tactical Squad with the Heavy Bolter and Plasma Gun out front, because my plan was to shoot the hell out of Gene Stealers and get rid of them, and then slowly flank back across the board. So I had a Battle Predator with 2 Heavy Flamer sponsons and a Flamestorm Cannon. The other one had the Twin Assault Cannon and 2 Heavy Bolter sponsons. They both had Hunter Killers and Storm Bolters. And just so you know, I did not play with the Bolter beta rules because I completely forgot about it. I had the tactical squad between them. Behind the tactical squad was the Primaris Lieutenant and the Captain in Gravis armour, to try and give them some rerolls. So that was grand. I had that was like the left of my deployment. In the middle of the board up the front on an objective I had my scout squad, and then behind the scout squad was a land raider which had the deck company and sanguinary priest. I ran the sanguinary priest with the deck company because he gives them +1 strength. Beside land raider on the left hand side, I'll throw pictures in. I don't know if you'll be able to make sense of them because I kind of just took them to send them to the group, like our game group, so that they could see what was going on. But I'll throw them in the video anyway. That was grand. I had the Librarian Dreadnought deploy beside the Land Raider, and in Deep Strike I had Captain Sanguinius, the Sanguinary Guard, and to the far right I had my Intercessor squad set up in a building on an objective, because he'd no flying in the list. So when he said that to me, he placed an objective somewhere, and he was like, "Oh, it's just well I didn't place it on that building or something. I've no flying." I was like, "Wait a second, what?" So he had a couple of Carnifexes, he had a Tervigon, he had a Tyrannifex. Tyrannifex absolutely killed me. 2 units of warriors with their version of a Lascan. That was not fun. So basically, deployment was grand and whatever. We done Dawn of War deployment. It was whatever mission it was. We had cards, and he went first. He charged. No, he moved the Gene Stealers. Then he advanced. Behind the Gene Stealers was the Broodlord. Then the Gene Stealers used a stratagem which let them advance again. Then they charged. So by the end of turn 1, I had no tactical squad left. He completely wiped it out in turn 1, and I was like, oh my god, what just happened here? So I was like, right, I still have the Sanguinary Guard and Captain Sanguinius in Deep Strike. Well, Jump Pack Assault. So I'll be able to bring them in, and I might be able to take out the Gene Stealers with them. So he charged in, he consolidated, like I literally had a block. Right, imagine this here, this is my web palette. There was a Predator at each end of it, and in the middle was the tactical squad with the heroes behind. So that was grand. He consolidated into the Predators, or in such whatever way it happened, he consolidated so that I couldn't move the Predators, and I was in combat. We're not, just disclaimer, I am no professional 40k player. I haven't played in 6-7 months. This is my first game. I'm sorry. To show you how bad it was, he shot my Librarian Dreadnought when there was a unit closer and left it on 2 wounds in the first turn of the game, and in the second turn I remembered that he was a character. So it was a great out start to the game. It was a very enjoyable game, really enjoyed it. The deck company got out, they done an absolute massive amount of damage to the unit of Gaunts. They nearly wiped out the unit of Gaunts. The Intercessors were just plinking damage off of Carnifex all game. Tactical squad was obviously gone nice and early. The Sanguinary Guard I found were very good. Their bolters being assault to -2 AP, I think 1 damage or something like that. I'm not going to bother checking that, I can check it for the next one. They were very good, and the Power Fist definitely helped out, even with, I think the Dead Company actually killed off I'm going to say Carnivian, that's a War Machine model, the Carnifex, but it did take some work to actually get to that point. But the Land Raider was well wounded from taking shots. The Tyrannifex just sat at the back of the board shooting me every turn, twice because it didn't move. The Gaunts done a bit of plink damage on some of the vehicles. The deck company. So what basically happened was, as Gene Stealers all come in, I wiped the Gene Stealers out using Slamguinius, the Sanguinary Guard, the Gravis Captain, the Primaris Lieutenant, and shooting from the 2 Battle Predators. So in the end, he blew up the Battle Predator with the Flame Storm, the Flamer Predator he blew up and it done a wound on one of my sanguinary guard, which he managed to kill then. That left me with 3 sanguinary guard. But the death company done brilliant. The sanguinary guard done brilliant. He literally shut down all me heavy shooting from turn 1. So like my heavy bolter was gone, the plasma cannon was gone. There was, that was only 2 guys out of 10-man tactical squad. Like, he done serious damage to me early on in the game, and I spent most of the game then trying to catch back up. Striking Scorpion would be someone I'd watch a lot of battle reports from, and his Blood Angels list has 2 Storm Ravens in it, and look what I just done there. Professional painter right here. So I was like, right, maybe the Storm Raven would be a better option for transporting the Death Company instead of the Land Raider, because the Land Raider, it didn't get up far enough in the first 2 turns that, like, moved an advanced first turn, moved an advanced second turn, but it wasn't until the 3rd turn that I actually got the Death Company out to be in range of getting charges off. So the Storm Raven might be a better option there. I don't think the aggressors are as good. I've no repulsor tank, so I've no way of actually transporting the aggressors. And what happened was they were Screamer Carnifexes, so they literally just shot the Flamestorm aggressors to bits, and there was nothing I could do about it. Now the reason that I picked the Flamestorm ones is because I got a unit of easy to build ones when I was away in Spain. I went to one of the GWs in Barcelona, I think it was. Yeah, Barcelona. And I got another unit of easy to build ones from the Conquest set. So I don't have the Bolter version. Now maybe if I had the Bolter version it would have been better, because that's kind of what crippled me with the Battle Predator, with the Flamers and the Land Raider Redeemer. I know Flamers are great because they're auto hitting. I didn't move the Predators turn 1 because Gene Stealers were right in my face, but if I had got turn 1 I could have went differently. The Flamers are only range 8, so his Carnifex stood like, say, 10 inches away and I couldn't shoot him. Like, you know what I mean? I moved my guys turn 1 and I still wasn't in range to shoot him after he'd shot me, whatever way it worked out. So I don't think running around with just Flamers is probably the best idea. So what my plan is, I can field 30 Death Company. So I'm going to get to painting them up eventually. And I've only 1 Storm Raven, so what I'll do is I'll take 1 Storm Raven and fill it with Death Company. And I'll take the Land Raider and fill it with Tactical Marines and the Sanguinary Priest, and I might bring a standard librarian, just to have another librarian on the ground, especially playing against Tyranids. Like when he took out the librarian Dreadnought, I had no Deny the Witch, so he was getting them smites off. I think smite is actually what killed the last wound on the Land Raider, so that got rid of that then. There was a few other things that were just kind of like, right, okay, I've obviously built my list just because I wanted to bring my big toys. What if I built the list properly? So I'm gonna Terminators. I think Striking Scorpion also has in his list, and I don't really have a great selection of Terminators for my Blood Angels. I have a 7 or 8 man squad with Power Fists and Storm Bolters. Well, I could convert them up, but I just don't really have the time for that at the minute. So I'm going to try a different list for my next game, and I'm going to bring more kind of assaulty units and more actual troops as opposed to vehicles. So I might bring maybe a 2nd Dreadnought and hide my Librarian Dreadnought behind the 4th Dreadnought so he can't be shot because he's a character. Stuff like that, that, like, it was a very eye-opening experience going in, 'cause I haven't played Blood Angels, I'd say, since 8th edition dropped. I was just playing Tau all the time because my Tau are fully painted. Well, the list that I was using were fully painted. So if I have all my Blood Angels units fully painted, I might actually field something else, or I might try a different list. The 10 Death Company I played with are painted. The Gravis Captain was painted. The Sanguinary Guard were painted. Captain Slamguinius is a Vanguard vet model that I have that has a jump pack, Storm Shield and a Thunderhammer, but he's not based. And that's the only reason I'm using him as Captain Sanguinius at the minute. So yeah, Tyranids were not fun to play into. I learned a lot of lessons, and I think I need to really sit down and reevaluate my lists for my Blood Angels. But I just kind of wanted to talk a bit about the game on camera, and it also gave me an excuse to stop painting commission models and actually paint something Blood Angels related. So the Captain Gravis armor, a beast in combat. Primaris Lieutenant is okay because I paid points to give him the power sword. I've got the Blood Angels Lieutenant model. He did okay in combat. Nothing major, nothing fancy. Because the power sword is only strength user, but the Gravis Captain, it's effectively a power fist that your man has. So he's rocking around with... Oh, I'll do that in black. He's rocking around with a 2 strength, times 2 strength power fist. So he was like strength 8 or something, and he was just wiping out the Gene Stealers. But do I go with a Gravis Captain then, or do I go with a normal Captain, or do I take a Terminator Captain? Because the Gravis Captain, the models are great, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the models, I like the models and all that, but they don't suffer from, because Belisarius Call made them so pristine and perfect and immune to the chapter's genetic flaws that came with the gene seeds. The Primaris Marines don't suffer from the Red Tourist or the Black Rage, so they don't get the +1 to wound. So I might bring a few Primaris models, like I might keep the Intercessors because I don't really have that much troops for Blood Angels. And if I had a repulsor, I might take the Flamestorm aggressors again. But for now, I think I'm going to switch back and just go all standard, old school Blood Angels. Like, when I mean old school Blood Angels, I mean generic Space Marine Blood Angels, not the Primaris stuff. So, like, he's got a Thunder Hammer, that's 3 damage. He's going to be wounding on trees. Like, you know what I mean? If it was a 4, he's meant to wound on rolls of a 3 would wound for him. So I think I'm going to reevaluate the lists, have another wee look at what I have in my collection, and maybe not what, like, the Primaris Ancient is good, but it says within 6 inches of any Blood Angel banners. If a model dies that's within 6 inches of any Blood Angel banner, so you could take the Sanguinary Ancient, you could take the Terminator Ancient and the Primaris Ancient, but as long as like if you had the Terminator Ancient with the Terminators, as long as he's within 6 inches of the guy that died, the other banner triggers that banner, which allows him to shoot, is the way I was reading it the other night. So it might be worth looking into doing something like that. And it mightn't do any harm to invest in some actual Terminators, especially, like, I have the Land Raider Redeemer there. The whole idea of equipping that with the Flamestorm Gauntlets was it was going to be either running up Death Company, or it was going to be running up like close combat Terminators, or the Assault Terminators, because when someone charges the Redeemer, I'm auto hitting with my Overwatch, and then all I have to do is just wound. So why wouldn't I take the flamer weapons, do you know what I mean? But I think that's the way I'm going to go for it. I might break some of the arms off my standard, because they're the Assault on Black Reach Terminators that I have. I might break the arms off them, and I'm off camera, sorry. I might break the arms off them and give them some, like, I have plenty of bits that I could use. I could give them Lightning Claws, I could give them Thunder Hammers, Storm Shields, whatever I wanted. They're not Blood Angels ones, but still, it might be worth looking at doing that, because there has to be a better option out there for Blood Angels than the absolute beating that I took the other night. But that's probably enough rambling for me now. If you're watching some of my older videos there, well, I mean recent videos, I built up all my Conquest models that I have at the minute and converted them up into Blood Angels. So that's where I got the Primaris Intercessors from, because I never bought the Dark Imperium box. I just went straight in and bought the rule book and that was good enough for me, because I didn't have time at that point to be, you know, painting up my own Dark Imperium box. I think I was painting 2 Dark Imperium boxes for one guy for Sons of Medusa. There was 2 tactical squads, there was 6 dreadnoughts or something. There was a lot in that list, like it was a lot of infantry. So I was just happy enough with a rule book and my Tau at the time. But I gave my Reaver models jump packs, and I think that all the Primaris models are brilliant, especially when your opponent shoots a Primaris Intercessor and says, "Oh, that's a wound. That guy's dead," and I'm like, "No, he's not. He's got 2 wounds." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yes, hello, welcome to the genetic modified. I'm gonna roll it. Genetic modified Space Marines that have already been genetically modified, but to be better." It was a real kind of gotcha moment. It was enjoyable. It was the only real gotcha moment I got in that game, because I ran out of command points pretty quick using rerolls and stuff to try and do damage and kill things. But for my next purchase, I think I'm gonna go with, depending on how the first unit of Terminator goes, I'll either get a second unit of Terminators, or I will be looking at getting a repulsor to get the aggressors in. Maybe Centurions would be better than aggressors, because they've access to different weapons. It could be something worthwhile looking into. Because I can take las cannons and stuff with them, and as far as I know, I can transport them in a Land Raider, so that kind of helps. But other than that, I don't really have much else to talk about Blood Angels wise. This is literally the most Blood Angels painting I have done, I'd say, in 3 or 4 years. So it's a start. At least I'm making progress on my Blood Angels now. And I definitely need to model an actual proper Sanguinius, a Slamguinius model. I don't know if I'm going to buy the Primarch Sanguinius model, because for starters I don't play 30k, and I don't really think I would do the painting on that any justice. I'd never be happy with it for myself. Like, it's such a nice model, and yeah, I don't want to put myself through that where I'm going to try and paint the model to be for me 100% perfect. Like, everything has to blend nicely, and I'll probably end up trying to do non-metallic metals or something and stressing myself out and burning out from the hobby again. I don't really want to burn out anymore, so I think I'll just leave that for the time being. That's probably going to be the best option for me. If I was buying any Forge World models, I'd be looking at the Blood Angels Contemptor or the Blood Angels Leviathan Dreadnoughts, because they are absolutely gorgeous models. But I think I have rambled enough for this video, guys. Hopefully the footage isn't too bad of me painting, because I'm actually looking at the model and not the camera at the minute. If this kind of video is something that you like, leave a comment and a like, and I'll do them again. If it's something you don't really want to be watching, I'll do something else instead. I might just do a recap and not actually paint in the video. I'll just do a live stream or something for this by itself. That's not bad. I got the cape base coated, I got most of the metallics base coated there. His cloak could probably do it being smoothed out a bit. I might get finishing this guy up in my own time, but I might leave him just for doing videos and talking about Warhammer, and that way I can keep working on commissions. Yeah, I'm going to stop it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know if you've had any bad experiences with Tyranids, or if you're a Tyranid player. What would you not like to see? And I'm going to stop talking now, so I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching.